too. Yes.
Oh, see, I just watched it.
All right, Boston Legal, and then it's like every Star Trek guest star that appeared on Boston Legal. He had a run of them.
Did he?
Oh yeah, Neelix, Odo, a whole bunch of people. 7 or 9, they were all on Boston Legal.
Let's not do an intro. You guys just keep on talking.
Okay.
Tony, can you just put on your headphones and just continue talking?
We do a lot of that.
Yeah.
The original one we did was with Craig Miller. I don't know if you know Craig.
Mm-mm.
But he'd already been on the show the first time. And then the second time, we just started talking like this. And she just did the entire show of us just shooting the bull. Okay, go back to that, and I am going to get to the reason you're here. But so when he has in Boston Legal, there was all kinds of little innuendos. And you would hear the communicator noise, and he would have little innuendos, but I don't remember a lot of Star Trek people on the show.
Oh yeah, like I said, yeah.
Now tell me characters, not names. I don't know names except for William Shatner.
Okay, Neelix was on the show. 7 of 9 was on the show. Odo was on the show.
Odo.
There were a lot of Star Trek
Odo.
guest appearances.
Okay, Odo was
on
actually the
Boston.
main character on the show all the time.
Right.
Okay, I did remember that. And what was funny is when I met him or saw him talking all this stuff, it seemed like that Boston Legal character was almost the real William Shatner, because he was so witty and so funny, and it appeared he wasn't trying to be funny, or he didn't think he was funny. It just was funny.
Right.
And that's what I was so impressed with, because again, you heard this massive ego and this and that, and I'm like, I'm not seeing any of that. I wonder if Leonard Nimoy wasn't alive at that time, or were they not getting along at that time? Because it would have been cool to have Leonard Nimoy on the show, but I can't remember the time period. I heard rumored that Leonard Nimoy and Shatner got back together at Comic-Con here in Atlanta, solved their differences.
Okay, it was what was it, Dragon Con?
No, DragonCon. Sorry,
DragonCon.
DragonCon. So, and did you know DeForest Kelley Bones is from DeKalb?
Oh yeah.
Oh, you knew that.
They had references to him all the time. About being what is it? I thought it was Conyers.
Well, he might have been born in Conyers, but he went to school in DeKalb and Decatur.
Okay, cool.
So he might have been born over there, but he's kind of his more formative young years, because I don't think he was over there very long. I think he came here almost like immediately. So my dad was born in Wyoming, but he basically is Montana. So I kind of correlated, I guess, that he really kind of did his more growing up early years here in DeKalb County. So we want to do some research on DeForest Kelley for our website, because I wish I would have thought about all this and had this podcast when he was alive, because that'd have been amazing to talk to Bones.
Yeah, I only got to meet DeForest Kelley once, and it was at one of the Star Trek cons that were here in Atlanta. And it was, strangely enough, he was actually promoting his poetry book.
Oh, wow.
So it was like, poetry by DeForest Kelley. And he actually got up on stage and stuff and was reading his poetry. And it was actually pretty cool.
So did DeForest Kelley sound like Bones? Did he kind of act like Bones at all?
He didn't act like it, but, his voice is his voice.
Yeah. Because Shatner's voice on Star Trek was the same, but everything was very different when he played Denny Crane in Boston Legal. So
oh yeah,
that's why I was curious if Bones sounded like Bones, or did he just so.
The great thing about Shatner that he had to basically create 3 pulp culture characters. He got to be James T. Kirk. All right. He also got to be Denny Crane.
Yeah.
But he was also T.J. Hooker.
Right.
So you've got 3 different generations that have been exposed to him, by playing 3 iconic characters.
I tried to go back and watch T.J. Hooker after watching all of Boston Legal, but I guess the timing of the show was a little more complicated to go back and watch again. Like some of your old-time favorites when you were young, when you watch them again, it's like, you can't. Just the way they filmed it and stuff like that is just not exactly the same. Like Starsky and Hutch was phenomenal, but trying to watch it now is not quite as good.
No, yeah.
But Star Trek is Star Trek, so you can watch it and it doesn't matter. Though will say one of the greatest experiences was sitting in the captain's chair on the bridge. I just didn't want to get up and I didn't want to move. I just want to sit there and take it all in. So we're talking science fiction. So Tony, you're here because you've got a great event that had been going on for many years and now you're recreating it. So let's talk about that.
Okay. Well, basically, it's the Atlanta Sci-Fi Fantasy Expo. And we started it, I guess it was 2016 is when we did the very first show. And we did it over at North DeKalb Mall. And the way it basically got started off and stuff, I was hanging out with a couple of gentlemen that also have been running conventions here in the Atlanta area. One was called Tracklanta, and the other one was called Sci-Fi SummerCon. And so I was hanging out with them and stuff, and they were talking about the ins and outs of running a convention. And, so I got it in my head, I wonder really how hard would it be to do a convention. And at the time and stuff, I'd actually done some smaller events over at North DeKalb Mall at Challenges Games and Comics in my shop. We had some different author, workshops and get-togethers. And I'm just like, well, hey, why don't we go ahead and try to take this to the next level? And so what I wanted to do was create something that was free to the public to attend, because a lot of people would complain that, some of the larger media conventions and stuff, around the country and even here in Atlanta, were rather cost prohibitive to participate in. But, I'm like, okay, can I do something that's, everybody can attend, but still have panels and workshops and an opportunity to meet authors and artists and guests and have a whole vending area. And so, I got together and stuff with people that I worked with in the past on different projects and got together with my staff and we're like, let's do this. Let's see if we can do it.
So at your old shop, you were over there by the movie theaters, from what I can remember. So
well, we actually were in what was the old arcade. That's how we got the name of the store, Challenges Games and Comics.
Okay.
All right, because as a kid, I used to play in the Challenges arcade that was over there in the mall. And I just happened to be going to the movies one day, and I looked over and saw that the arcade was gone. And at that time, I also had already had the store over on Memorial Drive. Oh. And so I'm thinking, I've been thinking about moving to a larger location. It's right here. Let me see what I can do. And so I talked to the general manager and, told him what kind of store I had and stuff and about, the fact and stuff that, I bring crowd. So I actually bring people, to, the mall. And so, he gave me a really good offer that I couldn't pass up. And, I went ahead and moved to North DeKalb Mall. And because the arcade had already been there, and for a lot of us, it was history. Mm-hmm. So I basically was like, okay, we're changing the name of the store because the name of the store at that point was the Dragon's Hoard. Mm. All right. Because we had all these different treasures and stuff you can get for pop culture. No matter what you were into, comics, games, Dungeons and Dragons, whatever. And so we're like, let's go with Challenges Games and Comics. That way we keep the name of the arcade. And so everybody will know exactly where we are.
Very cool. So how did you get into doing all this? Your original store was on Memorial Drive. So how did you get the passion to want to do this, open that store?
Actually, it wasn't even my idea. Well, to give you a quick background about me and stuff, I started reading comic books avidly and playing chess back when I was 9 years old.
Okay.
All right. And so I kind of always had that kind of nerd slant to me. All right. And, even when I got to high school and stuff, I did all the basic stuff. I was editor of the school paper, ambassador of Model United Nations. It was, my buddies and me, we played, chess. We read comic books. We thought we were nerds. All right. And then we actually went to a chess tournament, and we actually were playing Parkview. And afterwards, we won the match, and the guys came over and they were like, hey guys, really good game, and they started talking to us. And then one of the guys was like, well, hey, do you guys play Dungeons and Dragons? And like I said, I went to East Atlanta High School. We're a bunch of nerd kids, you like hoods, and we're like, what's Dungeons and Dragons? And they were like, "Oh, you need to come over to our house and check it out." It's like, dude, you live in Parkview. We are not coming up from East Atlanta all the way to Parkview. But luckily, our coach, Colonel Meeks, was like, "Oh, well, I'll take you guys over." And so we go over to the kid's house, and he shows us how to play Dungeons and Dragons. And then all of a sudden, we're like, there's a whole section of nerdom that we know nothing about.
Wow.
You know, and so at that point, we were like, well, what kind of other stuff can we get into? And then later on and stuff, I started like going different places and meeting, more people. And I met my buddy Tim Cummings. We were actually coming back on the bus from a comic book shop. And we got to be really good friends. And he had the idea of like, hey, Tony, I want to start a comic book shop. But he had already sold his back issues.
Oh.
All right, and so he's like, would you be willing to come in and stuff, as a silent partner? I didn't wind up staying silent, but coming in as a partner, and we can use your back issues because I already sold mine, and we can start the shop. At that time, I was doing wedding photography. And so we actually set up and got with another friend of mine, Don Hilsman. And he was actually at that point a professional comic book artist. He was already working for like Marvel and DC. And we set up a little business called Midtown Studios, where we had a photography studio, the comic book shop, and Don's art studio.
Wow.
And so that's how the whole thing actually started.
Very cool story. Monica, you know all about Dungeons and Dragons, I'm sure. Yeah, she plays it daily. My youngest son has just learned. They've been, like, the last 3 weeks, been playing Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh, sweet.
After work. So that brought you to North Lake, to North DeKalb Mall, and COVID kind of ended that with North DeKalb Mall with the convention.
Right. We had the misfortune of our biggest show yet. What was planned for the COVID year, and it was set for the middle of March. And if all of us are probably trying not to remember, that first week of March is when basically COVID got hit hard and started shutting everything down. And we had the show scheduled, and I was pretty much like, can we do the show? But because of some work that I'd already done, created a motion comic for the CDC, I had a lot of people that were hanging around and helping out with the show that worked for the CDC. And they basically were like, Tony, no, you can't do the show. And so we had to basically cancel the show. Well, at that time, we thought we were postponing the show.
Right.
All right.
Yeah, we all thought a couple of weeks.
Right. We were like, well, we'll just move it to the winter time. And then like many years later, we never got a chance to bring it back at North DeKalb because it never recovered from the pandemic. And at that point, they had decided to close the interior of the mall. So we couldn't hold the show there anymore. And they actually started kicking the vendors out of the interior because they didn't want to pay for the expenditure of it. The only reason I got to stay at North DeKalb as long as I did is that I actually had an outside door.
Oh, that's right, you did. Yeah. Well, before we go to your current show, motion comic, what is that?
Oh, well, it's actually something that everybody thought was going to be hot and it actually failed. All right. But it was basically an inexpensive form, well, compared to regular animation, it was an inexpensive form of animation where you would have like different characters and panels moving from like a comic book scene, and you still have somebody come in and do the voiceovers over the characters. All right. And it was one of the things that we were experimenting on. I said I do so many things. Basically, at the shop when we had it on Memorial Drive, we had art classes going on. And we also had a screenwriters group. They would meet there at the store. And so we had the idea of putting the two groups together because the artists wanted stories that they could practice and draw on. All right. The screenwriters wanted their stories to be able to be told, but of course they didn't have the money or the resources to go get movies made. So we got the two groups together and started producing anthology comics.
Wow.
All right. And then after doing that, we started producing a few books. And then we started working with the Atlanta Radio Theater Group. and they were always looking for stories that they could do for the radio theater. So we provided them with stories from the comic books from the radio theater, and then we started working with Flash animators and doing the whole motion comics thing.
You think you were just too early? It'd go over now?
No, because the problem with motion comics is that you can't get the public to pay for motion comics because in most of their heads, it's just cheap animation, and they don't want cheap animation. They want full animation.
Well, that's true. Which
is a lot more, expensive. Which is one of the problems we ran into with the project for the CDC, because they approached us when we were at DragonCon, because we had a booth at DragonCon, producing and showing our books. And they saw what we were doing with motion comics, and they were like, hey, we'd like to put in for a grant so that we can do a motion comics on HIV and AIDS awareness. And, we'd like you guys and stuff, to work with us on it. And so we're like, okay, fine, just let us know what you need. All right, so they used the footage that we showed them and that we gave them to go and get the grant to do their motion comic. Strange thing about it, though, is that because it was a government thing, even though we helped them get the grant, we still had to put a bid in to get the grant.
Oh, wow. Yeah, government.
Okay. So it was like, what? So we actually put a bid in to get the grant. And we were doing the motion comic thing for them. And then they put it in front of focus groups. And then the focus groups were like, well, we want full animation, And then they came back to us. It's like, well, they want full animation. And then we're like, well, y'all didn't pay for full animation.
Right.
Okay. There's a real big difference between, 150,000 and, the million that it was going to take to do what you guys want. But we worked with it, and we got them as close to Archer level animation as possible.
Very cool.
And they actually won some awards with it, and we actually did a presentation with it at the San Diego Comic-Con.
Well, when they won awards with your work, you won the awards too.
Yeah, they got the awards.
Oh. But you can still kind of like, well, we did this for them that won an award.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things, too, when you do work for government and stuff, it's like it's their work.
Yeah. You don't get the award, but you can kind of get some credit. You did it for them, I guess.
Oh, yeah.
Not exactly the same.
But we know we did it.
That's true. That's important. So tell us all about the event that's happening very shortly.
Well, the Atlanta Sci-Fi Fantasy Expo is coming back. We're going to be at North Lake Mall this time. All right, the mall has been like really great, working with us, because they see the importance of having an event that's going to bring people in. All right, so we're basically going to be having 40 plus vendors the way we usually do. We're going to have over 30 hours worth of panels and programming and workshops. We're going to have photo sessions going on. Groups are coming in and stuff. It's going to be cosplay. We've got some authors coming in. We've got some actors coming in. There's going to be sequences, where people can, learn by doing. There's going to be paint and takes where we're going to have people come in and we teach you how to paint miniatures. There's going to be stuff with Gundam building. There's going to be Lego building. So it'll be plenty of stuff for kids, and the whole family to really participate in.
Lego building sounds pretty cool. I understand they're going to come out with start the Enterprise Next Gen and a Lego.
I'm surprised it's not already out.
I know. I would have thought so too, but I just saw this being announced.
Okay.
Because I tried to find, of course, the original Enterprise, but you didn't have it. I couldn't find it anywhere.
Oh, you showed some images?
Yeah, she was showing images of the actual facility and some of the things that you have going on.
Oh, like I said, there's plenty of gaming going on. And this is for actually one of our earlier shows. These are scenes from the very first one we did.
Wow. So what's the dates?
March 15th and 16th.
March 15th and 16th. How do you get tickets?
Well, it's free to the public.
Perfect.
All right. The only thing and stuff that anyone has to pay for, and there's a new thing that we're adding to try to bring in even more people from outside the county, is that we're doing our intergalactic cosplay ball. and that's going to be over at the DoubleTree Hilton over here at Northlake.
Awesome.
And that's going to be going on from 7 to 9 that night. And we've even got like general admission tickets for that are only going to be like $30. And you can actually just go to AtlantaSci-Fi Expo.com to purchase tickets for that.
So do you have your outfit ready, Monica?
No.
Who are you going to go as?
I have no idea.
So are you the first of this type of convention in DeKalb when you started at North DeKalb Mall?
As far as I know, yeah, I can't think of any other ones and stuff that have been going on. But like I said, what makes ours, special is that it's, like I said, it's free to the public.
Right.
We're letting people come in and, get the whole experience. For something like, this humongous that everybody knows about, like Dragon Con. I think like a ticket for Dragon Con is like, $150, for the weekend. Yeah, there's some like free activities like the parade that you can go to, but it's basically really cost prohibitive.
This one's free. There's vendors, there's games. You're going to do a actual like fashion show.
Yeah, it's going to be a fashion show, cosplay contest, and then we're going to have. It's almost like the intergalactic ball. It's almost like an intergalactic cosplay prom, because it's actually going to be a contest for king and queen.
Oh wow! There you go, Monica. You and Junior, you dress up, perfect.
Perfect.
I mean, we got it ready. Now they're going to win.
But like I said, it's going to be fun for everybody.
So do you have any known writers or speakers or coming in?
Yeah, well, I said a lot of people are still signing up and stuff.
Sure.
Or working their schedules. The problem with a lot of actors, especially when you aren't like paying them thousands of dollars to show up,
Right.
is that the paid work comes first.
Right.
But we've got Anatipo Thomas, who a lot of people might recognize if you're into the whole Marvel sci-fi thing, or even like Disney or DC Comics. She appeared in the Hawkeye series. She was in Black Lightning. And most recently and stuff, she was in the new musical Color Purple.
Oh, okay.
All right, she's going to be coming down and stuff. And like I said, she's, a big fan. We've got comic book legends like Dexter Vines, who's local here in the Atlanta area. And he's done a lot of award-winning artwork.
Well, that's very cool.
All right, we've got like, voice actors like Carrie Means and Bob Carter.
Bob Carter, yeah.
Yes, who, are coming to the show. We've got Lauren Brown. All right, and she's in the past had actually been one of our vendors, but she's actually an award-winning animator. All right, and right now and stuff, one of her big claims to fame is that she's actually art director for Witches of the Coast, which, some of us know of, the company that puts out Dungeons and Dragons and Magic the Gathering. So, I know people have always like, well, hey, what's an art director looking for? So it'll be a chance for artists to come by, maybe show their work and stuff, and, maybe get a job working at one of those places.
Very cool. So next year we can plan on having William Shatner.
Are you putting in the bill for William Shatner?
No. You'll be good friends with him, and he'll come in over. That would be fun.
Well, like I said, I've worked with other conventions and stuff and actually helped bring in some media guests. And a lot of people don't realize when it comes to like guests at cons, a lot of times and stuff, you have to like guarantee these people anywhere from $2,000 to $10,000, for their appearance. And that if you aren't paying that, they're like, okay, if I don't make a certain amount of money in autograph sales, the con has to cover that.
Right.
That's why a lot of cons and stuff that try to do a lot of media guests fail, because, you're charging people to come to the convention, and then you're also, the people have to spend money, and you have to pay the guests who are coming to your convention, which can get very cost prohibitive really quickly.
So what does William Shatner cost? Do you have any idea?
I have no idea. No, I don't even want to ask.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. I wonder, the guy.
But I will tell you one thing. So what is it? My buddy Anthony Montgomery from Enterprise. All right, for him to go on one of the Star Trek cruises, they just cut him a check for $10,000.
Wow.
So I don't even want to think what William Shatner would go for.
Get the guy who wrote The Trouble with Tribbles. He's going to be up in Ticonderoga. It seems like he's there every time you turn around. Either he must live there, or he just likes to get out, or they just like to pay him. I'm not sure what the three scenarios are. But so if you're talking to someone who doesn't know, never heard of your event from the past or now, what's that hook that you think would get there to want them to come? What would you say?
It's going to be fun.
There you go.
Like I said, plenty of activities. Like I said, we're going to be Saturday and Sunday. We've got activities from 11 to 7 on Saturday. And then after that, from 7 to 11, we've got the cosplay ball. And then after that, there's even going to be like an after party.
Oh, that's cool. Where's that?
Oh, it's going to be at the Marlowe's.
Yeah. I wonder if it'd be nice enough you can go upstairs to the outside deck.
Well, it will depend on how the weather is.
Yeah, true. But that could be cool. If it's a nice night, go up there and finish out the evening. And it'd be great photography with everybody in their outfits.
Oh, yeah.
That would be super cool to see.
Well, actually, speaking of the photography and the cosplay, one of the great things about North Lake Mall is that staircase.
Oh, yes.
That interior staircase. We've already got photo sessions being scheduled for that staircase. Because a lot of people and stuff I know, they go to Dragon Con, like to do their photo sessions on the back stairs of the Hyatt. The great thing about ours is that our stairs are going to look cooler, and it's climate controlled.
Yes. And it is going to look cool. I mean, it is a grand staircase.
Oh, yes.
Big, nice room right there, right down the hall from where all your vendors are going to be. Are you going to get the restaurant area? Come straight in there? Is it going to still be open?
Oh, well, the food court.
Food court.
Yeah, it's still going to be open and stuff. They had talked about doing some remodeling, but that hasn't happened yet.
I was kind of hoping they were going to wait until after because that's a great entrance for you right there, parking lot level.
Well, that's one of the things we're going to tell everybody and stuff, too, is that when you come to the expo, you definitely want to come through the food court entrance that says Food Garden.
Right.
Because we're going to have everything going on that bottom level of the mall. So there's going to be no reason for you to go upstairs. Everything's going to be downstairs.
So that's perfect.
Yeah.
So, you don't have to worry about up and down steps because I think the elevators are gone or something, or escalators. But you don't have to worry about going up and down. You can come in ground level, park right there.
Yeah, everything's right there on the ground level. And like I said, when it comes to food, we've got some great food vendors there. One of the ones and stuff I like to, give them a quick plug and stuff is the Tokyo Express.
Yes.
You can get like 2 meats and a veggie, and it's only going to cost you like $10.
And it's really good. They give you samples.
Right. Whether you go to like some of the larger conventions, it's like, that hot dog is going to be $10, not counting the drink and the chips.
Right.
So you're going to be able to get, fed well. We've got the Dugans, they've got good deals on food. We've got the American Deli, and we've got the Tokyo Express.
Very nice. So.
Oh, and there's actually a convenience store in the mall now, too.
Oh.
So when you get the munchies, you just go in there and get your bag of chips and a Coke, and you're good to go.
I didn't know that. Okay. So, again, the dates, where to find you.
It's going to be March 15th and 16th at
And
North Lake Mall.
and what's your web address?
It's Atlanta Sci-Fi Expo.com.
Like to talk to each person and say, if you have a friend coming in or as you're asked on the street or whatever, what's a must-see, must-do in DeKalb while they're visiting your store? Challenges,
games and comics. Well, one of the things and stuff I like to do is when I have the time and stuff and have a lot less of it now, I like walking Stone Mountain Park.
You're number 2 now.
Stone Mountain Park. When I was, had more time, I was really like proud of myself for being able to do like 5.5 miles around the mountain. And then, on those days I was feeling really good, I go up and down the mountain.
Wow.
After doing that.
I've gone down the mountain. I've never been able to go up the mountain yet.
Yeah. But like I said, going up and down the mountain, especially after doing that 5.5 miles around it, is great. I haven't been there in years since I stopped working there, but I love the Evergreen Conference Center and Resort up there.
What did you do at the mountain?
Oh, I worked as a bartender.
Oh, at Evergreen?
Yeah.
Well, I guess it had to be at Evergreen.
Yeah, Evergreen Conference Center and Resort. Matter of fact, I was part of the opening staff for Evergreen Conference Center and Resort.
Back when it was SMMA, Stone Mountain Memorial Association owned it.
Yes.
Interesting. That's very cool.
Back when you had the really good benefits. No.
Yeah, state benefits.
Yeah, the benefits weren't that good when Marriott took over, but hey.
And what's funny is they have great benefits, so it's just not great enough to equal the state.
Yeah.
So, any last story you want to talk about for coming to your favorite memory of being at your event from the past?
Nothing that really sticks out. Like I said, it's just a really fun time. And like I said, I like, seeing people have fun. I remember when we did the very first show, I had the vendors coming to me and are like, Tony, can we do another one of these in 6 months? And I was like, nah, we can't do another one of these in 6 months. You guys have no idea how much effort this takes, But, the vendors were happy because they got to meet people and they got to make money.
Well, that's good. Yeah, you want to make money and you want to meet people and continue spreading the word. So,
and like I said, and we've had people and stuff come to attend the event and also vend from the event from as far away as California and New York.
Well, we love that. More people coming in to spend the night and to come out and eat and see DeKalb County and see Tucker.
Well, that's one of the reasons and stuff we decided to go ahead and do the international, interdimensional ball, was to see how many people we could actually bring in from outside the county and actually have them, stay, for the evening and stay overnight.
Well, the other perfect thing is you're at the end of the Science Expo at the Atlanta Science Center right down from you inside the mall.
Oh, yeah, and they're getting ready to start up another event. So we're actually, since you brought that up, we're actually doing some of our STEAM programming over there at the Emory Arts and Science Gallery.
Very
we're
cool.
actually working with them.
We'd love to hear that. We'll have to hear about that more on another show.
All right. And also, we're working with the Macy's. The Macy's and stuff is going to be helping us with the costume contest. They're actually having a meeting about that today.
Wow, nice.
So we're trying to get all the other vendors and stuff in the mall involved with the expo.
So no great story from the past, but with this show, besides the fun and entertaining value, what do you think is going to be your what are you looking forward to the most about this year's convention?
I'm just happy to bring it back.
That's true.
People have been hounding me for years about bringing the show back and how much they missed the show. And, I was like, okay, guys, you guys miss it so much. I need you guys to step up and help me do the show.
Right.
Because like I said, I don't do the show to make money. I'm just trying to make sure I don't lose money.
Right.
But it's about the community.
Now,
and so I try to make the community as involved as much as possible.
Do you do voices like Bob Carter? I mean, I was trying to think if you could say something about your own show in different voices.
Not my skill. Not my skill.
Okay.
So we're going to do that. So we need my employee Cayman up here because he actually used to hang out with the Atlanta Radio Theater. And so he could do like a whole bunch of voices. Sitting there watching him play Dungeons and Dragons and play different characters is like highly entertaining. The most entertaining thing is getting a bunch of voice actors playing Dungeons and Dragons. It gets real interesting.
Are you going to have that going on this year?
Oh, there will be people doing role-playing games, yes.
Oh, that would be interesting.
And like I said, we've got plenty of people and stuff that are voice actors that are going to be coming. One guy and stuff, that works on the new Transformers series is talking about coming down from New York, even. So we'll have at least 3 or 4 voice actors.
Nice.
So if you're actually interested in learning about that field, this year's show will be the perfect one to do it.
Oh, I got to tell Alex. Alex is my youngest son, and he's got that voice that every time he works at REI, so he talks a lot, and it just continuously. Everybody goes, "You should be in radio." He's got that kind of more of a booming voice, and I've got hearing aids now, and I'm like, sometimes wish he would quit being so loud with his booming voice. But I need to tell him he might need to come over because he gets that constantly and be a good time to go over and see.
Yeah, give it a try.
Yeah. Well, we appreciate you being on our show. We're looking forward to the event. I think it's going to be phenomenal. I mean, you're going to be the first Sci-Fi Expo reboot in DeKalb. Well, I guess ShowCon in October was the first. So you're the first reboot, and first one in Tucker. First major convention in literally Tucker. So we're excited about that. And again, everybody can reach out to your website at
AtlantaSciFiExpo.com.
So, and please come out, free event. You're going to have a lot of fun. Try to go to the ball, wear your favorite costumes. And thank you for tuning in. Be sure to check our next show.